Last year, I left my full-time teaching job to go back to college. Now at 30, I'm almost done with my second semester at Pacific University. While college was stressful the first time, this time I'm experiencing stress in a whole new way. Let's break it down. Stress refers to individuals' psychological and physical responses to challenging or threatening environmental stimuli. A stressor is a source of stress. Non-traditional students include those older at time of enrollment, minorities, and full-time workers. First stressor, finances. As a traditional student, I lived on campus, I ate on campus, I biked and walked around. That saved me a lot of money. Now I'm paying my own rent, I'm paying food, gas is $5 a gallon, $6 a gallon, $7 a gallon. Second stressor, work. When I was a traditional student, I had 1 to 2 on-campus jobs. There was no commute. Now I'm working 3 on-campus jobs, 2 off-campus jobs. More expenses mean I need to have more work. Third stressor, time. When I was living on campus, I saved a lot of time. My dorm was 2 minutes from classes. Now I'm driving 2 hours a day at least, 3 to 4 hours in classes, 4 to 5 hours at work. Also, I need to eat, sleep, and homework and have a life, and I don't know when I'm going to do that. Fourth, deadlines. When I was a traditional student, I had homework deadlines. Now that I'm a non-traditional student, I have homework deadlines. And rent, and phone bills, and car payment, and credit card, and work deadlines is a lot of deadlines. And it's not just me. Other students are experiencing this as well. A helpful framework for why I'm feeling stressed is role theory. Role theory describes the psychological impact of having multiple roles. Here's all the roles I have on a Tuesday. All right, it's Tuesday, so here's my day. I'm on my way to the library. Shift starts at 7:30. I have a statistics class at 9:40. And today I have an advisor meeting at 11:30. And then at noon I have concert hour, which is a 0 credit class that's required for music majors, and we just perform for each other. So my performance was last week. So this week I get to watch other students perform. At 1 o'clock I have my normal psychology that this project is for. Shout out. And as soon as class ends, I drive to lessons. My first lesson is at 3:30 and it takes me like 50 minutes to get there, 45 to 50 minutes. I usually listen to a podcast or a book or something on the way there. That was just 9 roles that I counted. And I have more. So it's 6:59 right now. I'm on my way to my first job. I get off my second job at 8 p.m. tonight. So it's a nice 13-hour day. And I do this every Tuesday. Each person embodies different roles. Each role requires both energy and time. In their explanation of role theory, Sprung and Rogers state, when demands from one role consume available resources or prevent/disrupt performance in another role conflict may result. Therefore, if a person has competing roles that lead to negative or other life priorities, this may lead to an uncomfortable mental tension in that the person might feel like they're ignoring other important demands. This personally in my life to be true as a student and experience the physical stress that comes from this mental tension. Alright, I just finished classes, feeling a little tired, feeling a little snackish. I'm gonna eat some raisins, I think. On my way to work, the new student canceled, so 1 less student, 1 less hour, paid less, but I am going to get off work at 7 instead of 8, so I will take it. Alright, taught of the lessons. I'm on my way to Costco for some dinner. Feeling accomplished. My students are doing really well. And I could tell that they were really tired today too. On the way to get food. Got a little bit of a headache, but food's gonna help a lot. And okay, well, got my Costco pizza. Now we're gonna talk about stress. There are some biopsychosocial implications. First, biologically, I feel it on my body. Having tight shoulders, accelerated heart rate. I'm so hungry. I'm so tired. Increased stressors, ironically, can impair sleep. So not only am I too tired, it might be hard for me to sleep. High stress can also impair function. And if I have too much stress and my functioning is too impaired, I'm not going to be a safe driver. And that's a problem. Psychologically, stress can have a big impact on self-esteem. Feeling there's something wrong with me that I can't handle this day, when in reality it's just a crazy day. Brain fog, just hard to focus in general. Socially, when am I gonna have time to see my friends? If I do see my friends, I'm thinking about other things. It's hard to live in the moment. And having days and days and days like that can really wear on you mentally. Can lead to depression, can lead to anxiety. With depression and anxiety, alone those things, they have their own biopsychosocial symptoms, right? Because biologically, with depression, often more like lethargic. With anxiety, accelerated heart rate. Psychologically, again, low self-esteem, unmotivated, sense of hopelessness. And with anxiety, feeling unsure or panicky. And then socially, also people with anxiety and depression are less inclined to reach out for help. And why does this matter? Traditional students are still facing these stressors, but non-traditional students are often facing different and more severe stressors, and it's leading to higher dropout rates. There's people dancing in the parking lot. That's fun for them. I want to become a music therapist. That's why I'm here. And it almost feels like the odds are stacked against me because I didn't become a music therapist right out the gate. Had a whole career, and then I became a music therapist. So the program isn't designed for me. And a lot of other music therapy programs aren't designed for transfer students. I've talked to other people who go to other schools and they're experiencing similar things. So it's not a specific problem. But Pacific can do better. And here's some ways. One way that Pacific can support their non-traditional students is academic accessibility, OAA. We offer services for students with all sorts of challenges, dyslexia, autism, ADHD. Any students with a kind of diagnosis, they can go to the OAA and they can get extended deadlines, they can get different resources. We already have a framework built in. Non-traditional students should have that access as well. So two ways that they can go about this, right? Accept acute stress disorder as a qualification for OAA. So you have a diagnosis, and then they make it easy for you to get it through the student counseling center, or have an evaluation with someone that's going through a lot. Let's support you. Let's get you the help that you need, and allowing those students to have access to things that other students are having access to anyway. A second way Pacific can support non-traditional students is through the shorter delivery model. Instead of having a lot of classes happening over a long period of time, you have only one or two classes happening at a time, but it's shorter. So being able to do this would make it more accessible for non-traditional students. Instead of expecting non-traditional students to fit the traditional structure, institutions could cater toward non-traditional students as a demographic. And there are some schools that do, but Pacific could increase the amount of non-traditional students if they catered towards them better. And there's a market for that right now. Another thing that Pacific can do is offer student access to Headspace app. So Headspace is a science-based meditation app. In between tasks or at home or at school or whatever, students would be able to have the ability to have access to that kind of care. Being able to slow down, help yourself cognitively, physically become in tune with your body. The nice thing about having an app though though, is you don't need to worry about scheduling, you don't need to be worried about conflicts, and you can do it wherever. So you could have it built into your day, into your rhythm, or you can do it just like if you have the chance. I only have 1 more year left, so I'm trying to make the most of this year, but the key is getting through this year. Here are 5 strategies for success that I can implement. So 1, I can set time boundaries to prioritize work-life balance. 2, I can write down my roles and be intentional about how I divide my energy so that I feel like I have agency instead of being helpless about my situation. 3, because social support can protect against stress effects, I can communicate what I'm going through with friends and I can ask for encouragement. The reminder that I'm not alone can keep me from feeling isolated in my stress. 4, while social support can be effective, not all social support is the same. I can also protect myself from stress by avoiding draining relationships and being selective about who I share my stress with. And finally, I can be intentional about talking about myself positively and focus on my wins. Going back to school, was it worth it? Sometimes, I don't know. I hope so. The stress is a lot. It can really get to me sometimes. But through this project, I've focused on ways that I can advocate for students like me. I want to use my frustrations and the tensions that I feel to help Pacific University be a better place. If not for me now, then for future students, especially music therapy students. I've also researched scientifically backed strategies to help me succeed and pass on to others so that they can succeed. Is it worth it? I'm hopeful. It's not easy, but since when did I do things the easy way? Thanks for following my journey. If you want to check out my music, We Are Turtles on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. I have been too busy to work on music, but I'm really hopeful for the summer. And watch this space.